Hey guys, welcome to another session of Loadouts. This is for the 10-man trial for Shaula, the Insects of Guile and Deceit. So apparently in the story, they killed their sister, so apparently you were supposed to face 3. So maybe they would have won if they had kept their sister alive, but the story must be deep. Maybe sometime I'll do a Muffin Man lore. It'd be interesting, it'd be pretty fun. Anyways, this is my team, as you can see here. We're going to do a Loadouts and go through the gear, espers, and equipment. And units, of course, that I have and why I went with them. I've mentioned this in the trial video. This is a relatively one of the easiest 10-man trials, even though it's like number 8. I think it's number 8. But it's not too difficult if you can keep up breaks, buffs, and damage mitigation. You should have no problem at all. A magic tank and a provoke tank, and they don't even have to be that beefy. This is my Nicole here. He is pretty much the same gears as I've used for all of the 10-man trials so far. The only reasons why I'm using a Bowie knife and Galkin dagger is just because of the HP passives that I have on them. And Galkin dagger has a 10% and 8 HP. White brim for MP, vestment of mine for MP regen, and ribbon. One of the things that may be a hassle to newer players is just the status ailment protection. But that's easily covered if you have a unit that can buff status ailment protection throughout. This is TT's STMR. By no means you even need it. I barely ran Nicole. A breaker is more beneficial than a buffer in most cases, especially for survival. She is susceptible to attack and magic breaks. MP 30, as you can see here, water guard protection for MP and spirit. Great Mage's Chant for MP every turn, but HP and MP and Spirit as well. Really good on him. Resentment for more HP. Again, this is just him built from other 10-man trials. This is my Awakened Rain, set up specifically for this one. Does non-elemental magic and non-elemental physical damage. They're all pretty weak, like 5 times, 10 times mods, but if you do a 50% break, you have that. So this is why I said it's really squishy. My trusty Crimson Saber, until later when Larcers come back, this will probably be the best I can do in terms of HP. The only thing I can get better is a 12% HP passive in the middle there. Otherwise, that's actually pretty solid. 62 HP passive overall. I went with SQ-chan here because it has the most spirit shield other than my Rivery shield. Frozen Crown for more spirit HP, Ozetta Armor for more spirit, Cloak of Flames, Ruby Cant's TMR for 30% spirit buff, and then Bomb Engagement Ring for that 30% HP. This is more than enough to survive it. I don't think he went under 60%, 70% HP the entire battle. Anti's Disaster, because he had all pretty much, he only needed, I think, Confusion Paralysis or something. And so this just covers all the status ailments there. Thirst for Survival, 30% HP and Spirit. Protector of Lapis's own TMR for trustability. And of course LB gauge fill every turn. HP and Spirit is really good as well. Mechanical Heart, even though I really didn't need it. But it's just because I really didn't have anything else to put on him. I just thought that was enough. I went with Aegeon's Arm here for High Tide. And Bowie Knife without High Tide, but just for the HP. And she fills her LB pretty quickly, and I have 2 Entrusters on my team, Merc Ramza and Fina, to be able to do it, but Mog Wisdom for that 50% LB fill rate, Pure White Blessing and Ignorance to fill LB per turn, 2 per turn, so that's 4 with them combined, and Mood Maker was just what I really relied on, 200% LB increased buff for 3 turns every time she is revived or starts in the battle. Ico here was really just to get our summon gauge quicker, even though you really don't need it with the strategy that I went with. But Nirvana for LB fill per turn, Prodigy Goggles LB fill per turn, Trick Hat and Sarah's Robe is just what I had. I just put it on her. Mog's Ribbon because she has innate 30% all status ailment resistance. Mog's Ribbon for her gives her 70% all status ailment resistance, giving her full 100%. Mog Wisdom for another LB fill rate. Oops, 1 second here. Mog's Wisdom for LB fill rate. Hill Digger for just more HP. Resentment, more HP. And Ignorance, 2 LB fill per turn. Ramza here had Nyx's Dagger on. So Shaula is immune to, at least I think a couple parts, immune to non-elemental damage. So my strategy was to counter with Ramza and Rain at the same time. Rain using Spectral Field in order to counter when teammates are hit, and Ramza has really good innate counters anyway. Both of them have fire weapons, so they could Elemental Chain, so one actually deal damage, so therefore Limit Burst Crystals actually drop, and Esper Orbs. And of course, Nyx's Dagger is just one of the best weapons for tanks. Reverie Shield is what I mean, has 84 flat spirit, but I wanted it on him for the defense. You can very well just run evasion, but you know, she's so weak anyway, just wanted to look tanky. Grand Helm Plus gels well with Grand Armor for that HP defense combo. Japa Mala for his trustability. She does do single target charm, so you want to make sure that that's covered. Jake's Pirate Ring for Pirate Soul, and Halloween event going on right now, so if you're free to play, especially pull for this. 25% HP, LB fill per turn, LB fill rate, and defense and spirit is pretty good. H Armor Arts, of course, and then 3 Pat Recalls for HP 30% and defense 20%. Makes him pretty tanky. Heo here with Bug Killer Plus. Now we got this from the Scorn of the Beast or whatever. Scorn of the Marching Beast, that's it. Took that one on yesterday, and this is why I wanted to run that first, because she's a combo of Spirit and Bug, so make sure you have Spirit Killers or Bug Killers. But again, like I said, she's pretty squishy, so I didn't really slap him with a ton of killers, but this was enough. No real explanation needed. Flaming Blade Agni for fire. For phase 2, she's weak to fire. Phase 1, she's weak to wind. Martial Gloves, Precious Hairpin, and Heals Clothes for his own trustability. Again, Discernment for all status ailment protection is just to mitigate that need for a unit to actually have to buff us every time we need the status ailments. Buster Style for TDH, and Large Sword Mastery for that attack passive. Renoa, my Renoa is really weak. Level 101, just never bothered leveling her. But I mean, I have pretty good gear, so even at level 101 without pots, it's pretty decent magic, I suppose. Hairpin of Purity for status ailment protect. Dark Robe, Mateus Malice for more magic. This one has a 30% magic passive. Black Trump is the Ace's STMR. Genji Glove to dual wield it, and Ice Rosetta for that 50 magic base. And Rod Mastery for 50% magic, and a Dark Bond for 50% magic when Rod and Robe is equipped together. Mage's Resolution for 40%, and the Corrupt Emperor, this is Emperor's STMR for 60%. But again, you don't really need that. You don't need that. For Sephiroth here, I went with Homaru, again, chaining fire with my Heo. Onion Sword, because just pretty decent damage overall. Black Howl, Lunith's Clothes, Ring of the Lucii, because we have our 400% cap increase by the time of this trial, so he benefited more from passives rather than flat. Otherwise, I would run 2 Dash Earring. Awesome Swordsman here for the dual wield with 30% attack. Bug Killer on him. Hero's Vow Dark for Reagan, and also more attack buffs plus LB fill, but that's not needed. Discernment for that status ailment protection. And then really quickly, I'm wrapping this up here. Rydia here, of course, is stronger. I do remember I potted her. Yeah, I did pot her. Not max. 33 out of 34. But, I mean, this is why she's much stronger than my Renoa. But Summer Whip here, she can wield whips. I was like, okay, yeah, dual wield it. It is one of the strongest magic gear that I actually have. So, Ministerial Prayer there. And, of course, Summer Whip is Seabreeze Dark Fina's STMR, for those that don't know. Strategic Cape, this is my next best robe for magic. Nicole's TMR. And, of course, we got this Cersei's TMR for free if you played that raid event. Ribbon for status ailment protection. Quintessence for dual wield magic for 30% if you have a robe and a rod equipped. And Adventure 5 rather. And then Sworn 6 Pride Light for 40% magic, 20% HP. Loving Nature, Nature Loving Spellblade, really good, of course. I've mentioned this before, one of my favorite TMRs. 40% magic when equipped with robe, 40% attack when equipped with sword. So it's really good if you wanted to slap it on your damage dealers with sword equipped. You want to slap it on your mages with robes equipped. You get the benefit. And of course, it's the best hybrid TMR. One of the best. This is my Fina. Nothing special about her either. It's just a Moonmaker for that LB fill. I wanted the AoE re-raise, plus she can entrust, so it's always really good idea to get your entrusters and ability to get their LBs really quickly. Bling necklace has a passionate. This has an LB fill rate. I think it's 25% if I'm not mistaken. Prodigy goggles for LB fill per turn. Hairpin of Purity to get rid of the status ailments. Yeah, everything else is just spirit and LB fill per turn, and I think that is it. That's it. Yep. And so a couple things you didn't need to note. Again, Renoa here has Leviathan for spirit killer, magic spirit killer, and Golem here for bug killer on Sephiroth. A couple things you need to note is probably just it's probably easier to just go wind elemental chaining for first phase. Really easy. Missions is 5 LBs, evoke Tetrasophy. It should be really easily done. And like I said, my strategy was to use Ramza and Awakened Rain to both counter on every single turn I could, and that way you get your LB crystals really quickly, you get your Esper orbs really quickly, and so that worked out really well. The other Esper is not really notable. I mean, like Shiva on Lid, Ifrit on Nicole, this was just like really random. All the ones I focused on was Rydia having Tetrasophied. There's no other, there's like no single target death, nothing to be worried about there. And so just keep up buffs, keep up breaks, and deal wind elemental damage first turn, fire elemental damage the second one. Second phase, there's 3 parts. There's a right arm and a left arm. They're only immune to non-elemental damage, but they're prone to every other element, so it's fine. So just go with fire, since Shaula, the main body, becomes weak to fire in that turn. With enough buffs and probably even Imperial, you could probably one-shot it. Apparently I didn't one-shot it, but they were still pretty easy. Once the body was down, the arms did no damage, as long as you broke them. And Lid had her LB break, 74% attack and magic break on all the time. Anyways, I'm gonna end that there. That's all the tips I have. Not really needed, like I said, but you should be confident going into this. There should be really no reason why you should die unless you fail to break and buff, and yeah, for your tanks especially. And that's it for that one. Make sure you guys check out that trial video. It should be a pretty short one for the full full experience. So I'm gonna end this here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.